So it is July of 2020, and the coronavirus is resurging in most parts of the country and in some areas across the world. So it's more important now than ever to take a good hard look at the investments before you jump in. If you're buying a property, getting ready to do a development deal, buy a company, whatever it is, make sure that you understand the global economic environment, the macroeconomics of the economy and what's going on, and how things can potentially be affected by coronavirus. So you want to make sure, number one, that you underwrite the deal at the very, very local level. Make sure you understand who the customers are, the clients are, the tenants, the traffic, the demographics around the investment that you're making, and how what is going on in the economy is going to affect that deal, that investment, that company, that property for the long term. So you want to really make sure that you look real deep at the macro overall, and then the micro economic level in terms of the local economy around that investment, around that property, or around that deal, so that you can fully understand exactly what the ramifications are going to be if we do have shutdowns again, which a lot of states are talking about shutdowns, maybe not the whole the whole retail environment, but definitely they're talking about restaurants, bars, movie theaters, potentially hair and nail salons again. So you want to make sure that you understand what you're signing up for, what you're getting into, and don't look beyond a month or two in terms of your forecasting on your financials and things like that. You need to make sure that you are kind of nimble, you're day to day, week to week, month to month. And once we get treatments and vaccines and things like that, we get all this behind us, then you can have a longer outlook on the pro forma and on the financial recovery and the economy as a whole. So just be careful, dig deep, make sure you review financials up to the last minute. I was working on a deal today with a client, and sure enough, this is the week of closing, and it turns out that the financials were not what they were before the deal started 6 or 7 months ago, pre-COVID. So make sure that you check the financials up to date, income statements, expenses, operating costs, vacancies, collections, all of those things you want to know up to the week of closing. If you're doing a development deal, you can have a longer outlook. And, right now, things are looking pretty good in terms of inventory levels for development. We cannot bring enough product to the market fast enough in any sector, whether it's multifamily, single family. In the housing markets, we are undersupplied nationally on a national level. Of course, there are pockets where you probably have too much demand, too much supply, but in general, inventory levels are down across the country. So make sure that you monitor the macro, micro, and the local economies in terms of the assets and the businesses and the investments you're making, to make sure that you're covered and you're protected for the short term and as well as the long term once we get to the other side of this.